We're having issues. All right. So it doesn't look like that's going to work. You guys can unmute. I'm going to do issues. I was going to do a whole opening with a countdown, but it doesn't look like that's working out for me. And we're already having slight audio issues. So I'd like to apologize in advance, everyone. Welcome to the Ripple Effect. We are live. And I have Nigel from the Devil's Playground 2 and Harry with us today. And I really want to welcome you guys. I had a lot of fun last time when I was on with Nigel on the show. Harry, welcome. This is your first time here on the Ripple Effect. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And where are you located?
Southern California.
Okay. I thought you were in Colorado for some reason. Wow. All right. What's life like in Southern California?
Oh, well, we have the typical 99% of everyone's wearing a mask whenever they go outside or into a store. And I'm constantly trying to help people wake up and say, hey, it's, why are you breathing your exhaust?
They don't want to hear it.
No, they don't. They just want to put their head down and move forward. And it's sad to see these sheep just line up and just getting themselves ready for the slaughter.
Absolutely. I had an interesting conversation with a lady today in a store. She had her little girl with her. She had to be under 10 years old, and the little girl had a mask on. And I had said about, you don't have to wear a mask. And she's like, oh, but it's required to wear one when we come in here. And as she's standing in the same store as I'm standing in with no mask on, and she's telling me she has to wear one in the store, it's required. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, I'm in here. My mom supposedly had this COVID thing that they're calling it, which it was just a flu. She's fine. There ain't nothing wrong with her. She survived. It's got a 99.9999999 survival rate. What are you doing? What are you doing? But I realized when I looked down at that little girl that all of this is being done for that generation. They're starting over. This is the reset, guys, because eventually we're not going to be here. And it's their generation, and the kids that they're going to have are going to be the ones that are going to, leapfrog right into this Orwellian nightmare. And, it is our duty to stand up and do something and say something. This is the time to do something and say something, not be on the fence and not be afraid of social scorning.
But it's the whole mentality of it. It's, I'm wearing a mask. If you're wearing a mask, then you should be safe, right? Why do I need to wear one? And it's the same with the jab, right? If you've had the jab and I haven't, how can I be a danger to you? Or you know what I mean? But they don't look like that.
No, there's no common sense.
You haven't had it.
Critical thinking's gone. See, if you start to think, nobody told you to think. You think you're free? Who told you to think? Stop thinking. Just do what you're told. Now put 3 masks on. And this is so ridiculous how it's getting. And there was a video I was going to play, but my freaking thing's all messed up. I'll try to get it up later, where there was a guy bullhorning out, the window of a car. I don't know if you guys have seen this video, and telling people, they're doing good, being obedient and what they're told to do. Keep wearing that mask, don't critically think. You're doing a great job. This kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And some guy got really irate and actually smashed the guy's window with his bike because he didn't like hearing the truth. And that's exactly what that guy's problem was. He did not like hearing the truth. He'd rather believe their ugly lie.
Let me throw a different slant on that from personal experience, right? I've lived in China for 7 years. I've been to many Asian countries. They don't get sarcasm. They just don't get it. They don't understand sarcasm. That guy with the megaphone was being overly sarcastic, right? And the guy that with the bike was clearly an Asian guy, and he didn't get the sarcasm. So he reacted the way he was because he thought this guy was actually was actually spouting the official narrative. And he was, but he was doing it in such a sarcastic way, probably overly sarcastic. And Asians don't do sarcasm. They just don't. They don't get it.
It's crazy to me, that they wouldn't get the sarcasm in that or whatever. But to actually, even if either way, the guy turned violent, he was triggered, and he even smashed this guy's window. I mean, that really says something about either side of it. You know what I mean? These people are either they're super obedient or they're super triggered. You know what I mean?
Well, hang on, Henry. I want to make it clear. I'm not condoning what the guy did, right? I'm not saying that putting his bike, smashing that window was what was right in any way. No. But what I'm saying is the whole thing's been misunderstood, in my opinion, because the guy with the megaphone was being so sarcastic. The Asian guy actually thought he was being serious, right? Because they just don't do sarcasm. You know, I mean,
they're probably on the same. They're probably on the same side of the issue. One guy was just joking, and the other guy was just didn't get it. But since when does the healthy person have to condone the unhealthy nature of the people who are wanting to wear a mask? You know, I mean, we're healthy. We don't need to be quarantined. Quarantine, if you take the word and you look up what it means, where it comes from, the Latin, it means 40 days of solitude. It comes from the word 40. And you only quarantine people who are ill. When you don't have a symptom, you cannot legally quarantine. We already know all this. For us, this is common knowledge. But for the general public that just believe everything that's doled to them, this is news. You know, after 1 year, they still don't understand this stuff. So,
and that's scary in itself. It really is, because we're marching right into what I watched a show called The Handmaid's Tale, and we're marching right into that scenario if they don't fucking figure this shit out. And plus, trust me, I am out there. I might not have a bullhorn in my hand, but I'm out there as vocal as I can be every day, and it's not easy, guys. But you do.
You're vilified if you're not wearing a mask. You are the enemy. You are the villain. You know, Osama bin Laden was, used to be so visible. Now our enemy is invisible.
It's always the invisible enemy. Even though we didn't ever even saw Saddam or met him or anything, like we saw the pictures and the videos. Mm-hmm. It's always this terrorist hiding around the corner or some big bad boogeyman virus that's lurking under somebody's pillow or something that's going to get you. It's always that unseen.
Juan makes a good point. Go and get it and get a free donut. Yeah. I've got something that I'll present soon. I put a PowerPoint presentation, just a collection of memes and that. And one of them is a photograph of a McDonald's letter to their employees saying if they can produce the bit of paper that says they've had it, they will get 4 hours extra pay.
Wow, what a cheap price! Huh?
Friends don't let friends eat McShit.
No, or Krispy Kreme. I mean, that's awesome, isn't it? You know, go and get it, and they will give you a free donut every day, and then you'll get diabetes, and
And that's right where they want you. Slow, sick, and dying. It always ends up to the same scenario. Cut your lifespan in half. The half that you are left with is not healthy. You got to rely on them for their pharmaceuticals, pharmakia, magic spells that only doctor you up enough to keep you coming back to their doctor because they're not cures. They don't make money off cures.
There's something that they're taught in medical school. A cured patient is a lost customer.
That's right.
Yeah. You got to keep them on the conveyor belt. You have to give them one drug so that they'll have a side effect and come for the next one. And they have it all lined up. It's that networking system that they have.
And look at what they do to babies when they're born, right? Because they're the most unnatural, sterile environment. Okay, sterile's good. You don't want anything that's, nasty and dirty going on when you're giving birth. Of course, you want something that's clean and sterile environment, but it also has to be loving and warm and inviting, not knives and needles and all this shit waiting for you the second you're born. You know what I mean? Oh, well, they do give you the baby. They give you the baby for a second when they snip in that cord, and then they take them from you and do all this stuff. And this is the baby's first impression of the world. They're scarred. They're immediately trauma-based, tortured from the time they get here, And I think that has a lot to do with the human psyche and how easily controlled we are right from the door, right from the beginning.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
We're
jabbing it.
Yeah. The trauma begins from the first instant. Yeah, first instant.
Yeah. And they do this. Luciferian Satanists do this to their own children. That's why they want us doing it to our children too. That's why they eat their own feces and drink their own urine. They have you now practically eating your own feces by wearing this mask all day long. It's the most unclean, foul thing you should be doing to yourself. It's unnatural to the natural state of your being, which is to breathe in and out, exhale your bodily waste, inhale clean oxygen. And this is what they do. They're indoctrinating people right into this Luciferian way of life. And trust me, they give us the toilet paper. They can take it away anytime they want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want because the sheeple out there will allow them to do it. I mean, you've only got to look. What's the female sheep called? A ewe. Okay, it might be spelled EWE, but it's still spoken the same as you. You know, and they wonder why we use the word sheeple.
Yeah.
The words are more, the meaning is more of the resonance of the word rather than the actual spelling. Like you said, you are a you, and you're going to be asked to line up and follow the you in front of you right off the cliff.
Absolutely. Yep. I mean, and we know that they treat us like cattle. What is the back of the lower part of your leg called? A calf. What is a calf? A baby cow.
Yeah. A kine, like a human kine, right?
Yeah.
Not kind.
It's been going on for hundreds of years, but at least we're finding out now and discovering it and figuring out who we really are. And like I said before we went live, you know, I was listening to Matt from Quantum of Conscience, and he made this awesome comment that if we made a conscious decision to come into this, to come into this incarnation for this particular time, we can get up and leave whenever we want.
Yeah, and I've said that before. I've said that I'm ready to get out of here. Sometimes I'll say, like, I'm okay with when it's my time to go. You know what I mean? Because I have no fear of death, and I understand what this life is about for the most part. And I feel like I've really been on my purpose, especially the last 15 years of what I'm supposed to be doing with my life here and the message I'm trying to convey to people. And I also feel like, there's no room for me in this new world that's coming up that they so much want to like dive head first into. There's no room for me there, and I don't want to be a part of that. And I'm okay with it.
There's no room for us. There's no room for any of the guys in the chat because we're all pretty much on the same page. It's if we're not careful. I believe, or I don't want to use the word believe. I understand that one of the reasons that we made a conscious decision to come back for this time is to take back this realm from the hijackers, the scum that hijacked it 500 years ago. And if we don't win, then this place is fucked. It's going to be left to the mask-wearing, face diaper-wearing idiots out there, and it's over. So we got two choices. We can leave and never come back. Not a problem. We don't have to come back. We've done our time. We know where we are. We know who we are, which is the most important thing. We know.
You want to bring up those memes as you're talking? Because those memes go right along with what we're talking about right now. We can slide right into those as well because they were really good.
Let me see
and like Nigel was saying, if we just sit back and do nothing, we're just going to be batteries to power up their world. And we're not going to sit back and watch that happen. So.
Yeah, it's not in my nature to sit back and not, because I always say, usually at the end of my streams, let it not be said that we stood by and did nothing. And that's so true. Like my kids, my grandkids will never be able to say that I stood by and did nothing. I was doing something. I was trying to make a difference. And they're awake because of me. And, this will continue on.
Okay, right. Can you see the screen I'm sharing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, look, I put that in because it actually looks like these guys are having a conversation. I just thought it's so cute. But yeah, I mean, my daily ritual. I think it's the daily ritual for many, many people. I thought this was absolutely brilliant. A leaked copy of The Plan to Reopen.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Nonsense. Yeah, total nonsense.
Yeah. This one, as I say, guys, there's no pattern or order to this. It's just random memes that I put together over the last few days. I like this one. I got this one from Clyde the Carl. And, you know, again, what can one say? This is a clip that a friend sent me. You know, avoid Tylenol is. I ain't got a clue. Avoid caffeine. Deli meat is bad. Stay away from fish. No alcohol. But then you should consider getting the yeah.
I'd say that there's way more toxins in the other.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, guy in a hotel. Hi, I'd like a wake-up call. And that's the reply from the receptionist, which I just think it's, you know, I think these things actually get through to people more than just, you know, trying to have a conversation with them. Yeah. Some of these need no comment. Yeah. I mean, we all know this one, but, you know, rise is... This one cracked me up. I mean, you know, we've had.
I love that one.
Listen, I have seen the one for painting. I've actually seen people wearing that in stores, in post office. Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah. When this all started in January of last year, I was coming back from Cambodia on a plane, and there was a guy wearing the pesticide one on the plane.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've seen that one as well.
Not cool.
This one tickled me. Every year in the UK, roughly 100,000 people die for any reason within 28 days of a haircut. See? It's easy, isn't it?
Don't you get a haircut every 2 weeks or 30 days, right?
I think I'm okay. I get mine cut like twice a year, 3 times at max. But, you know, you can die within 28 days of getting a haircut. It's perfectly okay. This one is absolutely brilliant. I don't understand why I'm sick. Well, there's the answer. And you can't get any more straight to the point than that, can you?
Yep.
Words fail me on this one, guys. They really, really do. Science should stop analyzing animal intelligence and start studying human stupidity.
Exactly.
And didn't you say that you saw somebody swimming in the sea wearing?
Yeah, up to their neck in water with their head sticking out and that fucking mask on their face. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I mean, what? There's no people around them either.
They didn't want you to spread it to the fish. That's why.
Yeah. My answer to this was a resounding yes. Every day. This was a good one.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah, I like that.
And I love this one. We are chased every day by all of this. We are chased every day.
Yeah, and when we go out and try to talk to other people, we're battling against all of this because this is all crammed up in their brains. And when you try to have a conversation with them, it's just like, it's just doesn't get through. Even if they're, you show them the most logical thing and they just don't get it. It's like they're dumb and dumber.
Yeah.
Well, I think for the most part, they don't want to get it. They're scared. They're scared of having their paradigm, their worldview changed. I mean, and again, this is how stupid people are. I don't have any. Well, that's one of them.
Yeah. One of the symptoms is you don't have any symptoms.
Yeah. And of course, we love these guys, don't we? I threw this one in because it just jumped out and I thought, wow. wow. I mean, that's a whole other subject, but, you know, just something to consider. We were talking about this guy, Hippocrates. It sounds an awful like hypocrite.
Yep.
But, you know, I mean, this is a valid quote. Before you heal someone, ask him if he's willing to give up the things that made him sick. You know?
And most people don't want to give up their Twinkies.
Yeah, people don't realize what they're experiencing is they're toxic. They put it in, either they breathed it in, drank it, or ate it.
Yep.
For the most part.
And made sure that they toxified all of those things. And that's why I always said all of these health problems starts with mostly what goes in your mouth from the day you're born. With the Simplex and all that stuff. Plastic bottles and all this. Now,
again, you know, I mean, words fail me, because what we're looking at here is, you know, we know it's a kind of a joke, but it's actually real life. I mean, there are people out there. This could be a real life. You know, how could people allow it to get to that point?
Yep. Well, they are allowing it to get to that point. And guys, it took them less than a year to do to the German people what they're doing to us here and everywhere.
Yeah. And this is true. I've been trying to get through to a guy I know online. He just won't have it. I've given him all the information, and he, you know, his answer was virtually this. I mean, you know, we have reached a point in our society where you can quote exact numbers straight from the websites and documented literature and everything else, and people will still call it a conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good one. And I like this one.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, this is all factual.
That's what I'm saying, how they have us fearing death. And they use that leverage over us to get people to do what they want them to do. If you didn't have a fear of dying, their tactics wouldn't work so well in so many of these situations.
Absolutely. But there's another side. There's another side to that, and I'll come to that when I've finished doing this little slideshow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody's seen this, or at least everybody should have seen this. I did some screenshots from a YouTube channel called Tell Me What You Love. He's very, very clever at delivering information like this. You know, I mean, and this is perfectly true.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of like George Carlin kind of comedy and stuff, you know?
Yeah. You remember this scene from Alien, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look what he did. Right? That's the scene from the movie. Look what he did. He put a mask on the alien and she's perfectly okay.
Wow. That's stupid.
Now, of course, we've all seen this.
Build Back Better.
Yeah, which, of course, is 3 Bs, right? Or is it?
666.
Yeah.
And that's like, thank you, Satan. Thank you, Satan. Yes, we can. Build Back Better.
Yeah, well, it actually gets better than that. You look at this sign, right? Look where the circle crosses through those O's.
3 O's, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's what you get.
They're very, very, very tricky, shifty, and diabolical.
Yep.
We got teams of people working on this satanic shit all day long because they all suck Satan's cock.
Yeah.
Is it a virus or is it tech?
Well, yeah. Unifies all countries towards the same policy, which is this one. This is, I don't know where he got these from, but this is from 1987, 1990, 2004, 2007, 2010, 2018, and then, of course, we have this one.
Those are all the Predator movies.
Predator movies.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And then,
here's this thing from McDonald's to help promote the safest work environment possible and to reduce the spread of the virus, we will be giving COVID-19 vaccine pay to any hourly employee who gets the COVID vaccination. Once you are fully vaccinated, please provide your general manager with a copy of your vaccination card that is issued by the CDC. Once you provide confirmation that you're fully vaccinated, you will receive COVID-19 vaccine pay included on your next paycheck. Pay will be the equivalent to 4 hours of your current hourly rates.
They got to pay you to get a vaccine.
Yep.
Wow. And they'll line up.
And this one just made me laugh because that's what it's all about. Only the vaccine passport will do that. Exactly.
And that's where this is leading to, guys. Papers, please. Everybody, papers, please. You want to go into Target? Papers, please.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what they want.
Because you're going to pass the port.
Now, this is something that is worthwhile people grabbing. I mean, you don't have to use this one, but you can copy it out and put your own currency sum in there. But I mean, I've actually got this kind of thing. I downloaded some forms, maybe 18 months ago, 12 months ago. Basically, what you're doing is you're holding whoever the living man or woman is, the person that's giving you the vaccine, you're holding them personally responsible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Personally responsible. And that's the crux of all this. It's not, I've got to do it because it's my job, or no, I'm holding you responsible. This is a good one. Every time I lower my frequency to meet someone on their level, I end up paying for it. That's a lesson I really don't need to learn anymore. Rise up to meet me.
There you go.
Yeah.
A truly strong person does not need the approval of others any more than a lion needs the approval of sheep. Don't mistake my kindness for weakness. The beast in me is not sleeping. The beast in me is sleeping, not dead.
Yes, and I've had many people mistake my kindness for weakness, and people do that all day long.
Now, just changing the tone of this for a minute, a couple of things I want to throw out there. In 1920, how many gas stations were there? All right, I won't wait for an answer. Euless and Alta Jeffrey drove their Model T 16,000 miles on a 9-month tour of America. Electric. But I was more interested in the mud on this picture than anything else. And this.
Oh wow!
I'm telling you, this is their roots. This is where they went.
Okay, in 1920, it was an electric car, and they had to charge this thing up along the way.
Who knows?
Wow.
I haven't got into it. It was one of our subs. When I say our subs, he came to my channel from you, or went to your channel from me, one of the other.
You know, I had a lot of video on these electric cars, and they were around a lot earlier than they had told us. It seemed to be some kind of a Mandela effect or something like.
I've got a whole PowerPoint that I did on electric bikes going back to 1800.
Yes, and scooters. And fold-up scooters, all kinds of stuff. Now, why would they have taken us off of that electric and gone to gas and oil and all this stuff is beyond me. But it had an agenda clearly, and it was to further enslave us.
Oh, it's because the Rockefellers owned all the oil, so they wanted to make sure that they sold it. They had a customer.
So what do you guys think oil is? How do you think it plays into the realm that we are living on top of? Where does this stuff come from underground, and what importance does it have to our realm as far as the functionality of it?
I'll tell you exactly what it is.
Okay.
Just one. I've got one more slide to do. This, what you're looking at now is, so we're told, San Francisco in 1906 after the massive earthquake. Right, 1906, and then this one is San Francisco in 1915.
Yep, that's impossible, guys. So that means that the earthquake pictures that they showed us are either fake or from some other scene somewhere else in the world, or the opposite is that the other pictures are. But there's no way within that short span that they could build back out a city plus a whole fucking exhibition. World's Fair within that time frame.
Yeah. Right, you asked about the Earth's blood.
Yes, that's what it is. It's the Earth's blood.
The Earth's blood. Yeah, if you go and donate a pint of blood, right, then your body makes it back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens with oil. There was a guy I was talking to or listening to the other day, and he was working. He works in the oil industry, and they were working in an oil field, and they pumped it dry. Right, there's nothing left, all gone. So they moved on. 10 years later, they were back at that same dry site, and it was pumping more oil than it did when they were putting it out previously. It's the Earth's blood, essentially.
Yeah, that's what I've always thought it was. It was like the Earth's blood, like whatever's down there that has to go. Like our bones have the joints, and then we have the cartilage between it to make it work smoothly when we move around. And if you take away that cartilage, it's like bone on bone and grinding and all this stuff like that, which is maybe part of what's going on when we're experiencing these earthquakes. Although we've been lied to about what is below our feet. So we really don't know how the inner workings of this realm works, and what mechanics may even be beneath us.
The whole Earth is a living organism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Organism, whatever you want to call it, living thing. You eat an apple, you plant the seed will go into a tree and will give you apples, right? If you take a whole bulb of garlic and break it into cloves and plant each clove, each clove will grow into a new bulb.
Yeah.
Segmented again. None of this. How? How? Because the Earth is a living organism. Yeah. I actually think that I don't think for a minute that the moon has got anything to do with tides. There's actually a lot of speculation that tides are caused literally by the Earth breathing. Mm-hmm. The same way that your chest expands when you're taking a deep breath.
Yes.
Yeah. Would affect the tides. I mean, growing up in the UK, there are certain parts of the UK that coastal towns where the tide almost comes in like a very slow tsunami. You can literally stand there at low tide and you can watch it come in. It takes 10 minutes.
Wow.
This is insane. And some places the tide will go out for 2 or 3 miles.
Right. So you're closer, would be like if there is that Mount Meru in the center where England would be located, you would be closer to that vortex field of that in and out flow of the water and stuff there, which goes along with the breath and the width and the breathing of the plane itself, because it is alive. Clearly it is. Look at everything that's growing on it. Things can grow out of this and live, We're here. We are actually lings of the earth. We're earthlings. And
the other thing that people need to know is that every map you have ever seen is a lie. Not one single map is true. Is a true drawing, if you like, of this plane. None of them. There was a lady doing, I forget her name, but she did an awesome video about the Tropic of Cancer, the Tropic of Capricorn. Well, the word tropic means crossover, passing over, right? And it's where the sun passes over from one part of the realm to the other part of the realm, the Tropic of Cancer, the Tropic of Capricorn. Well, the last time we were in that time period was like 6,000 years ago, right? So now it shouldn't be the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. It should be something like probably get it wrong, but the Tropic of Taurus and the Tropic of Scorpio or something, right? She's gone into great detail to prove this using the constellations, using the sky clock, that every single map is wrong. Every one of them.
You remember the channel, Nigel, wasn't that Flat Fact?
Yes, I think it is.
Flat Fact channel, yeah. I saw that same one.
And somebody put me in contact with a guy in South Africa. I forget the name of his channel. And he's actually trying to, he's got a map and he's trying to, look, let's walk from this point to this point, on the map. And he's looking at distances. and you go from one particular point to another point that we're told is like 11,000 kilometers, and then he'll go from this point to this point over here, which a much longer line, which is like 8,000 kilometers for example. So nothing that we actually see on a map is accurate. If you look at a map and look at South or look at Africa at its widest point,
yeah,
right, and then look at Russia at its widest point, Russia looks a lot wider than Africa, yet Africa is much wider than Russia. It's all fucked up. All of it. Everything's all fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like they're hiding land as well. They're hiding land within our realm, I think. The Pacific Ocean is massive according to their maps, right? Even if you lay it down on a flat map, there's a huge ocean over there where you can hide many continents, I think, and nobody would even know it because they control that whole space.
It's those lands that we don't know about. If we could go there, we'd probably bump into David Bowie, Michael Jackson, Kobe Bryant.
Elvis.
Yeah, that's where when we talk about extraterrestrial, we're not talking about people or entities from another planet. We're talking about the people who are on these extra pieces of land that we don't have access to.
Yes.
Well, Terranese land with ground, right?
Yeah.
Firm ground.
Yeah.
So extraterrestrial just means extra land. I mean, there's no way Antarctica is what we think it is. Absolutely no way. There's a lot. I mean, 190 countries all agree that nobody can go there. And if you can't just get in a boat from New Zealand and row, because there's going to be somebody that will, hang on, you're telling me I can't go there? Who are you to tell me where I can go?
Hey, Nigel. How about, have you ever heard of any other treaty that all countries agreed on?
No, because there isn't one. That's the only one, bro. Yeah.
That's the only one.
The only place they can all get along is Antarctica.
And the other question is,
war.
Why did Buzz Aldrin go down there? Why did John Kerry go down there? Why did the Pope go down there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I know they're stupid questions because we're never going to get the answer, but, what is so important that the Pope's got to go? Or John Kerry went down there, like, what, 2 days before the so-called election or a week before? Shouldn't he have been then on the campaign trail? Just more proof, in my opinion, that elections are selections. They don't matter.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
Somebody's making decisions. And I think when he went to Antarctica, he was trying to compel these entities that make these decisions to let Hillary get it, maybe. I don't know, or something, but they didn't go for it. And, whether it's all pre-planned or that it's pre-planned in such a manner that they have to get their marching orders from these particular entities that may or may not be in the Antarctic area. It seems that way. Why would a high-level politician just suddenly 2 days before an election hop on a plane to Antarctica? I mean.
Right, well, here's a little challenge for you. I mean, both you guys are in America, and I'm assuming many of the people listening to this are in America as well. Does anybody know anybody who knows anybody who actually works at the Electoral College?
Nope.
No.
I've never seen a volcano go off either, except for on TV.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, so what is the Electoral College? Does it exist? Probably not. Nobody knows anybody. It's like this Lyris nonsense. Nobody knows anyone who's died. Nobody knows anyone who knows anyone who works in the Electoral College.
Yep.
Go figure.
Yep.
2 weeks on the same day.
I had a conversation. I had a conversation with a gentleman at a restaurant who totally gets that the mask is all bullshit and everything, but he also buys into the whole patriotism and stuff and everything and the emotional attachment to our country and, all this stuff. And I'm like trying to explain to him that, the American dream, it's a dream. It's gone. If it ever really existed, I don't think so. But, it was a good dream. But now we're waking up and finding ourselves in a nightmare scenario here. And things that should have been done a long time ago. Years ago when I was sounding the alarm, we had a fighting chance at least. But it's hard now.
That whole concept of patriotism is because a lot of people are short-sighted. They think that this stuff, the ones that are partially awake, they think this is all new. The stuff that's been happening has been happening for hundreds of years, if not longer. We can look at the false flags, and I'm not going to name them, but the one that happened in that one 9/11, the one that happened in Pearl Harbor, all those false flags go far beyond, even beyond, longer than that. So the Patriots, they're stuck in their own mindset. And so, you can get them to agree with one part of what you're trying to get their mind to wrap around, but they're too embedded into their stars and stripes. Yes. And we've talked about it on our podcast, that a lot of the wars that we've seen, like the War of Independence from England, the Civil War, all these, they're not real. They weren't real either. They were all a facade, another false flag, just to get everyone to become indentured servants and slaves.
Yeah. Remind me to address Sherry B's comment in a minute that you just put up on the screen, Jen. There's a hard truth. And a lot of people ain't gonna like hearing this. And while I'm gonna put this in a polite way. I can't put this politely, guys. So I'm not gonna beat around the bush. People who take pride in fighting for their country. You've never fought for your country. You've only ever fought for your government. Nobody fights for their country. They fight for their government.
Yeah. Yep.
Even I think it was Henry Kissinger, could be wrong, it was Henry Kissinger, that's on record as saying that military men are nothing but pawns to be used in foreign policy.
Yeah.
No respect
Absolutely.
At all.
Yeah.
No.
And the problem that this one guy had with me was that I was saying that this is not the land of the free and the home of the brave. That is a myth. It doesn't exist. And as I was saying this to a gentleman who didn't have a mask on in the store, this other gentleman was passing by me with his veteran's cap on and this mask. And I speak boldly. I don't try to hide what I'm saying. I'm just talking regular, and I kind of talk a little loud. But he circled around and came back and made sure he came past us again and said, "Excuse me, did I just hear you say that the land of the free and the home of the brave is a myth?" And I said, "Yeah, that's right." And he said, "Why would you say that?" I said, "Dude, look around you." And he goes, and he's like, "Where are you from?" I said, "Does that really matter where I'm from? I'm from right here." He's like, "No, you're not. Where are you from?" I'm like, "What does it matter? The truth is still the truth." He goes, "Oh, so you don't believe in the coronavirus?" I said, "I don't believe in the tooth fairy either. What's your point?" And he said, "You need to get a mask on before you infect somebody." I said, "Sir, the only thing I could possibly infect anybody with is the truth." And I walked away.
Right on.
I think the land of the free and the home of the slave is probably a bit more close to reality. But just going back to that point I made, I really, guys, I don't mean any disrespect to any veteran. I really, really don't. But it's just that you get these guys, "I fought for my country." No, you didn't. You fought for your government.
But listen, every veteran out there who thinks that they fought for our freedoms and the future freedoms of the generations to come in this country are literally getting like a slap in the face, because communism is rolling right in here, and the people who fought for our supposed freedoms are allowing this to come in, and it's all packaged and under the guise of this fake umbrella thing that they call C19. And it's like they really feel like they're doing something good by having this mask on and in the good fight here against the virus.
I just want to quickly go back and answer Sherry's question when she said, "Are fallen angels coming back?" The fallen angels are the gods of Genesis 1. They've never, well, they may have left, I don't know, but the fallen angels, 33 of them, are the gods of Genesis 1. Harry and I did a whole podcast on this. I can't remember what it's called, but you'll find it on my channel.
Yeah, that's why 33 is such a big number for them, because I think there's supposedly 33 of them. That would be 1/3, right, of the 100. But one of the points that you're making, people who are veterans who fought, put their lives on the line to fight for their government, not for their country. When you enlist in the Marine Corps and a lot of the other branches, you become their property. So it's not like you have any choice once you're there. They have you over a barrel. And if you don't follow, I mean, if you put a tattoo during the 70s, you put a tattoo on your body, you get court-martialed for that. If you got drunk in a public place overseas, you can get court-martialed for that. It's because that body is now government owned until you're just. So.
Yep.
Yes, Jay. All wars are banker wars. Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every war.
Yeah. The bankers don't send their kids to war. The elite shitballs that run this shitty show that we're in don't send their children off to war. They send our children off to war. And the day after 9/11, 1 million people joined the military.
Yeah.
And what has every war been for? Has it been for grabbing land or setting people free? No. It's been to destroy property, destroy buildings, probably mud flood buildings, probably Tartarian buildings. They're trying to cover up what the true history is because they're feeding us bullshit and we're expected to believe it. So these wars,
One of the things they destroyed during World War II in 1944, the Allied forces, which was us, we were in Italy, and we dropped a couple of bombs in Vesuvius and said it went off, when actually they were just destroying more stuff that was still in there.
Yeah.
There's a quote here from, I wrote this down ages ago, from George Orwell. It'll be from his book, 1984. The most effective way to destroy people is to deny and obliterate their own understanding of their history.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is why his story is a lie overlaid over our story. So we are doomed to repeat it, and they can do this to us all over again. They're going to keep doing it and doing it and doing it, guys.
Well, they can, because after just a couple of generations, they just the revisionists rewrite the history anyway, and then they just tell us that's the way it's always been. And then there's no one old enough left alive to be able to say, oh, no, I don't remember it that way.
Exactly. And this is why Alzheimer's was introduced to the aging process. It is not a natural part to the aging process. And it was introduced because of that reason. Because there was new methods coming in the medical field that would make people live longer, even though they were relying on all these prescription pills. But they still had that knowledge in their head. When they're trying to cut our lifespan short, the medical field's advancing and being able to make people stay alive longer through these medications. But they had to block that memory out. And then we can't go to them for the knowledge. This generation coming up is never going to know what even normal was like, even though normal is what we've been fighting against all this time. Now we're in hyper abnormal going on. And this is what their life is now. It's going to be in the next generation. After then, they'll never know how things were before. They're rewriting it now as we speak.
I think
let me just interject on the point you just made with pharmaceuticals. The lanthanum drugs are the ones that people take because of their heart conditions, cholesterol. When you're on those blood thinning medications, what do? They remove the fat deposit from your body. And what is your brain made out of? It's a fat. So when you see the imaging of a patient that has Alzheimer's, they have holes in their brain, because I was in that industry for taking care of people who are those patients, and that those holes, they don't allow the synapses to connect so that you can have an active functioning brain. So these medications that people are taking, that they're the cause of why people are forgetting.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they have people believing that this is a natural part of getting old. Like, they don't ever explain to people what causes this. And when you go to an Alzheimer's unit, if anybody's had the unique pleasure of going to an Alzheimer's unit and spending time with these people, my grandfather had Alzheimer's, he was in an elderly home and stuff. You realize that there's a lot of common denominators behind with these people. They all took the shots, the flu shots, and they're all on all these prescriptions and stuff.
There's another question that people can't answer. They say that our body cells are constantly renewing, right?
Yeah.
So why 7 years?
every 7 years. Oops,
So why do we?
7.
Why? Do
Yeah,
we
because
age?
at a certain point you start losing. It stops, and then you start degenerating.
Well, that's it. We don't. We degenerate, literally, don't we? We degenerate as we get older, as we age. Yeah.
Yes.
Insane.
So they have us, due to the fact that they've shortened our lifespans and we're eating poison foods, they have our lifespan in a bell curve now, where we're babies and infants. We grow up, we have our peak, and then we start sloping back down into infancy again and shrinking back up, and then we die. Like, you know what I mean? We basically go back to infants when you're elderly. Most people who come out with Alzheimer's and all this other stuff, they're back to wearing diapers. They can't feed themselves. They need to be bathed. This is all indicative of what babies need. And so they have us on this bell curve in our lifespan. And it doesn't need to be that way.
My grandma passed away. My grandma passed away with Alzheimer's or dementia, they called it then, same thing. And the most heartbreaking thing is that they get to that certain stage, they haven't got a fucking clue who you are. And when you've had a very, very close relationship with a family member for many, many years, and then you go and visit them and who the fuck are you? It's heartbreaking. It's horrible. It's heartbreaking.
They're already trapped in their own. It's like they're trapped in their own hell, but they're still here alive. You know what I mean? But they're not even really alive, though. It's like they're a shell of what they used to be.
Well, they are.
It is heartbreaking.
They're literally a shell of what they used to be. Yeah, yeah. And then you have the two polar opposites. You have the body that's perfectly okay. With the dementia mind that's gone, and then you have. Do you remember that puppet scientist that they used to roll out? Stephen Hawking, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, why anybody believes that was real is beyond me.
That was such a hoax.
This speaking spell thing that he had. He had a little speaking spell thing. Whatever.
What they do is they've been mocking us, right? I mean, people trying to take everything so seriously. Have you seen that new thing? I think it's America or Canada. This new health secretary thing with the blonde hair. That's clearly a dude. Rachel, somebody it's called. I can't. It's popped up and popped up and popped up.
What is it again? The secretary? Is it Secretary of Education?
The new health minister or something.
Oh,
Canada.
Yeah. I see that. Yeah, there's one for Secretary of Education.
Clearly a dude. And what they do, they're mocking us. They mocked us with people like Stephen Hawking. They're mocking us with this Lyris nonsense. These people, these creatures that they put forward as these politicians and health ministers and so on and so forth. You know, there was one I saw of one of the Canadian provinces health ministers, and it was looked female, but this thing was obese. It was huge, absolutely huge, looked like a whale. And this is a health minister.
How is somebody going to administer health to somebody who can't even figure out their own health? I mean, it's like they're literally like mocking you. And when you see something like that, it makes you cringe, because that is a natural reaction to something that is misshapen and warped. You know, it's not supposed to be that way. But now they want you to think you got to be all inclusive, and this is normal. They're happy, they're comfortable. No, they're sick and overweight. Obesity breeds disease.
You know how we often say there are truth drops in movies, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it is, guys, but there's a Batman movie, right? Not that old. And there's a big fight he's fighting with the Joker, right? The Joker's gone and killed all these people. And him and Batman are having a fight. And it looks like they're on some kind of scaffolding. Very, very high up. And Batman's holding on to the Joker's arm, and the Joker's like floating around in midair, you know, with a huge drop below him. And the Joker's laughing, and he turns around to Batman and he says, "Why so serious? Why so serious?" Now the Joker's been killed a boatload of people, and he's saying to Batman, "Why so serious?" What I also think, and I've thought this for a long, long time, is the the people that people refer to as the elite, I call them the scum. They know what we don't. They know that this is just a meat suit, and that dying is not an issue. It's not a problem. We're just going to go into the light if we're stupid enough and come back again. It's not.
No thanks. Right?
No. Again, we did a whole show on that, guys. If you want to check it out, about not going into the light, and this is, I brought this up before, where in America there's been a huge shit fight about this, and not just America, but these full-term abortion nonsense, right? Mm-hmm. And people are going off their heads, going, this you're killing. You're not killing anything. All you're doing, the pregnancy is like a production line for a car, right? Once the car comes off the production line, the driver gets into the car. Right. When we're born, doctor slaps our ass, we take our first breath. That is the spirit, that is our soul going into our body. Prior to that point in time,
the first breath you take. Right.
Yeah. First breath you take is your spirit going into your body. Even the Genesis 1 says the spirit hovered over the waters, and if you actually look,
still, even if there's no spirit or there is a soul within that child, it's in your womb, you're still killing life if you kill it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a sacrifice to Lucifer. They have us doing that, called Planned Parenthood, but you're actually making sacrifice to Lucifer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In some of the ancient religions, one of the greatest sacrifices was to abort the baby, abort the fetus, right? Especially a male. But the analogy that I'm making, and I appreciate this is a really, really touchy subject, but I'm looking at it purely and simply from a matter of factual point of view. Yeah. In addressing why these people in America were pushing for full-term abortion, because to them, it's sacrifice, number one. But secondly, they don't see it anything other than the car coming off the production line and getting scrapped.
Yeah, but to even put that forth to get people to be okay with full-term abortion is them bringing people into that line of thinking, their way of thinking, as if this is just nothing. It's just an assembly line thing. You're not killing anything, really. It doesn't even have a soul in it yet. When actually it's all under deception to get you to do something that nobody would ever do something like. That's just, it's twisted,
But I guess the point I'm making is that they have no regard for human life.
They have
they have no emotions. Yeah. Right? They have zero emotions. So they've got no love, they've got no empathy, they've got no sympathy, they've got nothing. Right? This is why we say that empty or reptilian souls. So the point I'm trying to make is that they purely and simply see us as cattle, right? They see our body as just being the avatar, the carrier, the car. Our soul, our spirit is the driver. If there's no soul or spirit in that car, in that avatar, you got to remember it's called incarnation. In the car, our body.
You're driving the car.
Getting our soul around, so as far as they're concerned, if there's no soul, there's no problem, right? It's the car's come off the production line and we've scrapped it. If there is a soul in there, send him off to war. If he gets killed, not a problem. He's just going to go and be recycled again. That's the way that they look at it. They're not scared of death. Yeah. And something that I came up with or hit me yesterday is this, and this is very, very apparent to what we've been talking about. Do you remember the last podcast that you and I did, Jen, when we were talking about the seven on your hand, and the 8 being incarnation, right, and 9 being perfection, right? You and I talked about it, me and Harry talked about it. Well, why all the Saturn worship? Why all the Saturnalia, Satan, Saturn? There's a lot of theory that Saturn used to be the sun, used to be our sun, and worshipped, and so on and so forth. Well, Saturn represents the number 8 in many, many, many ways. I'm not going to list them all. You can check it for yourself. But Saturn represents the number 8. Number 8 represents reincarnation. Yeah. So why do the Satanists worship Satan and do all these rituals, these blood rituals and so on to worship their god Saturn. Something hit me yesterday. I'm not saying I've nailed it, but it makes a lot of sense. Number one, look at how old some of these guys lived to. David Rockefeller died at 102. He had God knows how many heart transplants. The Queen's husband's 99. Kissinger, Soros, you know, they look like they're never going to die. Even Biden's 80, for God's sake.
Yep. Yeah.
So these so-called, what people call elites, which is very, very interesting that it's at the end of the word Israelites, is elites, but that's, I'm digressing. Okay. Jen, if you were one of those, right? You're part of a very, very wealthy, very, very powerful family. You are destined to reincarnate. You can't escape this realm. You're stuck on number 8, right? Right. What are you going to do to make sure that when you die, you're going to come back into the same bloodline, into the same family? You're going to want to be very, very nice to your little God up there and make sure that he's happy with what you're doing, so he will make sure you come back into that same bloodline. That's your ritual. That's the reason for the rituals. That's the reason for all this ritualistic worship, because these old bastards, they want to come back into the same bloodline.
Yeah, and their God is the great deceiver, and how you worship their God is by being a great deceiver yourself and a great sacrificer, because Lucifer requires sacrifice, not just once, not just twice, but 24/7. And when you think you've sacrificed enough, he wants more.
Right. And here's another deception, right? And no, I am not what you would call a Luciferian, so don't throw that label at me. But everything in this realm is inverted, right? Everything is upside down. It's only the King James Bible that you will find the word Lucifer, and it's only in there once. You will not see the word Lucifer in any other Bible, only the King James, because we have to trust the King. It's only in there once. Lucifer means, as you know, the light bringer. Yeah. But that's in Latin. The Greek word for light bringer is phosphorus. Am I right, Harry?
That's correct.
Harry's Greek. And phos means light, phosphorus means bringer. So phosphorus, the Greek word phosphorus, translated into Latin became Lucifer. It is not a fallen angel. 60% of a man's fluid, semen fluid, contains phosphorus. 60% is phosphorus. What do? They bombard us with porn. They bombard us with sex. They bombard us with all this because they want guys sitting around jerking themselves off, or sleeping with as many women as possible, because every time they ejaculate, they are releasing Lucifer phosphorus from their body.
That's interesting.
Lucifer and Satan are not the same thing. They're not the same thing. You can check me out. Just Google search how many times does Lucifer appear in the Bible. You'll get one from the King James. One.
And that's even a misstatement. It's not supposed to be him. It's supposed to be talking about a Babylonian king. So
yeah, that's true. The fallen angels, as I explained, and we've done a whole podcast on this. The fallen angels are the Genesis 1 gods, the Elohim, the fallen Elohim.
Hey, Jill just had something to say. Jill has something to say here. Jill says, this guy does not believe Jesus walked the earth. He is not to be trusted.
Wow. Jill, you've obviously not looked at any of mine and Harry's work. I never said that Jesus didn't walk the earth.
Yeah, he's just breaking down the words and the terms and how they're used and how we're manipulated by them. And this manipulation does take place throughout the Bible, the King James Bible, as far as their translations, the things that they put in, the things that they left out. And these are things that have to be considered. I wasn't there. I don't know if Jesus walked the earth. And if he did, even whether he did or he didn't, the whole conception of Jesus and the Christ consciousness resonates with me. And I have a direct connection to the creator and to that spirit of Jesus and that Christ consciousness. So
right. Well,
it really just depends on how you look at it.
Very quickly, for the benefit of Jill and others, the first word that springs to mind there is to believe. We don't believe anything, right? We either know or we don't know. There is no.
Yeah, and as I said, if you don't believe in Jesus, you should know Jesus. If you know him and you know the Christ consciousness, and that is within you, and you have a direct connection and a relationship with that, then that's great. But other than that,
the word believe has got lie right in the middle of it.
Yeah, it does.
Lie right in the middle of it.
Just like TV, tell, lie, vision. Lie is right in the center of it. And I've always said that I never use the word believe. And when I do very rarely use it, I correct myself and I'll say, I feel or I know. Because we just got so conditioned to use the word believe or belief so interchangeably and regularly, it's like it's nothing to say that.
Harry, what would you say to Jill? What would you say to Jill?
Look, a lot of what we read is based on like the King James version of the Bible. That version itself has been so manipulated. Just take the New Testament. If you read through the New Testament, it was supposedly was written in Greek originally. When I look at, and I was a Christian for 25 years, and for most of those years, I believed it. I listened to what the pastor was saying to me. He was a PhD in theology. And when he would use words that I already knew how to say, because I was raised in a Greek household, I knew that he was mistranslating those words. Let's take one word and we're going to run with it. The word rapture. It's a Latin word for the Greek word harpazo. Harpazo does not mean to rescue, like a lot of people think that when you get raptured, you're going to be rescued by your God. Harpazo means to snatch or kidnap. So the connotation of a rapture is someone's going to pick you up and steal you from where you're safe already. So that's where the PhDs are telling you in a pastoral manner that you have to believe what they're telling you. Don't look it up for yourself. Don't do a search with a lexicon or a Strong's book so that you can find the true meaning. Because every word in English there's other words that mean a far closer version of what that true definition is. Yeah. So, and that's just one example.
Yeah. Well, we also know there was no J in the English language until 1594. No. It was a H. So Jesus becomes he's us. Now, for one guy to do everything that the biblical Jesus did before he was 33 years old is impossible. How did he get to so many places? The fact remains that if you look at some of the older texts, many of them will tell you that there was a whole army of people. I don't mean military when I say the word army, but a whole swathe of people who today would be modern day truthers. These guys.
There's a whole army of us right now, guys, and I've been saying we are the apocalypse. I think that the Christ consciousness, Jesus, and all the things that he did back then is coming out within us. Jesus was persecuted. The apostles were persecuted. We get persecuted all the time. I have to armor up when I go out there and deal with these fucking people. And we are the ones we've been waiting for. Jesus, the kingdom of heaven is within us, and we need to stand up and let that shine and come out, because maybe we really are the light that's shining on all this darkness to make it flame.
The Christ consciousness is within us. So for them to try to make Christ a physical person outside of us is where the mistake happens. That consciousness resonates from within each of us. And because we have that knowledge and understanding, and we spread that to everyone, we're going to accomplish way more than any one person could have ever done.
Yeah. So because and a lot of people say, well, he's coming back. He's any day now, he's coming back, right? But
here.
he's already here. He's already back. He's already coming out within us. And, there used to be that saying, Jesus helps those who helps themselves. You know what I mean? You have to get up, you have to stand up, you have to help yourself. If you totally give your power away in that manner to somebody who's going to come back and just save the day or save the situation or save the country or save us, then you're going to be left waiting, standing there, never actually fulfilling purpose. And that's right where they want you. So, and I think Jesus and the Creator want this to come through us because we are the ones we've been waiting for. We are from the Creator, and this is why we've all chosen to come here now.
Every Christian song will say the same thing: just wait and have faith.
Yeah,
you can't wait. You can't sit back and wait. There's two words that people always make a mistake on, and that is knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is knowing, which is very important, but it's nothing compared to wisdom, which is knowledge in action. You have to take action. You can be the wisest guy if you don't know, if you know everything and never do anything with it, you're really worthless. You're worthless.
Exactly.
Can you just put Sherry B's comment on the screen for a sec?
Let me go back up a little bit here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She says there's lots of evidence Jesus is who he said he was. Well, yes and no. For me, I have faith because I've experienced demonic oppression. We all have for many years and finally got free by the power of Jesus' name. No, you could have used your own name, Sherry. You didn't need to use the name of Jesus. You could have used your own name. What people don't understand is that Christ, the word Christ, comes from Christos, Greek. Right, Harry?
Yes. It's not. Yeah, it's not a name. It's not a name.
No, it's like the president. The president is not a name; it's a title. Christ is a title. Simple as that. Jesus Christ he's us, the people who had the Christ consciousness, not the sheeple out there. The return of the Christ consciousness is what happens when we have our dark night of the soul. When we realize that everything in this realm is a fucking lie, and we have our dark night of the soul, that is the return of the Christ consciousness. That is what starts on our journey, looking to find who we are, our inner person, not what we are. What we are is what looks back when we look in the mirror. They don't want
us to know. They don't want us to know who and what we really are. They want us to put all of our faith into one thing, and then they can still get mow over on us. And I'm not saying that people haven't had demonic attacks, and when they called on help for the Creator or from Jesus, that did not help that go away, because I do feel that these energies, this Jesus and the Creator, still have a direct connection to us. And they can help when it comes to the spiritual battle. But when you're out in the world every day doing your battle to get through your day, that's you. That's the Christ consciousness coming out in you. And you stand your ground and you show these people that you're not going to be brainwashed and you're not going to follow along with them.
Yeah, but getting back to Sherry B's comment, which I think is very, very important for people to understand, is that it doesn't matter that she used the name Jesus. You could have used any name. You could have said in the name of this cigarette lighter, fuck off. Because what they don't want you to do, these demons, they don't want you to recognize what they are. They don't want you to understand what experience you're actually going through. So Sherry actually says she has experienced demonic oppression. You experienced it, Sherry. You knew what was happening. You told it to go away. It went away because it was scared that you know what it was or what it is. The fact that you can recognize this oppression, demonic oppression, acknowledge it
instead of just being straight scared by it. Because if you didn't feed the fear, you called out for help, and you also told it to go away, that this is what you want from this thing to go away. So you've already recognized it, that it's there, it's in your space, and this is something that you don't want around you. So you're kind of commanding it to go away. And I do feel that, when you have this Christ consciousness within you and you already have that direct connection to the Creator, that those words will work 100%, because the darkness flees from the light.
because you are recognizing the fact, you're recognizing what's happening. Yeah.
Yes.
That's simply all it is. But the other thing
I didn't really want to get into a huge discussion and a debate about Jesus and everything like that. I did want to kind of keep it low key a little bit, but I'm glad we're bringing this up. But I don't want to spend too much time on it. I know how people feel about this type of subject and everything, and that's okay. I'm not forcing my views on anybody. I'm just trying to help better understand the times that we're in and the things that we need to be doing in this time, because it's very important that we recognize our strength and that we have this Christ consciousness within us, and Jesus is here already. We don't have to keep waiting for him to come back. He's already within us, and we're rising up.
Yeah, and whether we're believers in Jesus or not, we have a common ground here. We can unite together to battle against these entities that we don't agree with, because they're trying to dominate us. So we can definitely stand together. If what I believe and what Nigel and what you believe aren't the same, we still have a united fort against the oppression that we're facing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when we talk about this, Christians, a lot of Christians think that we're attacking them. We're not attacking them. You've already been attacked. Yeah. Right? You've been indoctrinated into a system in which everything makes you look outside of yourself for the answer. Oh, Jesus, come and save me. Why the fuck should Jesus come and save you when you're sitting on the couch watching fucking TV, drinking your soda and eating your McDonald's? What the fuck have you done to deserve to be saved? I'm sorry, but that's how it is. And the church will teach you, oh, I've been waiting at this bus stop for 2,000 years for this bus. Oh, the bus will be along soon. Because that's their methodology, that's their mentality. Everything we're taught is to look outside of ourselves. Jesus is going to save us. Trump's going to save us. He did a fucking good job, didn't he?
Yeah, they don't want you to ever figure out that we could stand up anytime and save ourselves. And that's what we need to do. And it is happening. It's happening across the board. More people are waking up. But the more that we have more people waking up, it seems like the more people are going to sleep as well. And adding more masks to their face and stuff.
Not only did the biblical Jesus say the kingdom of God is within you, he also said, no, ye not, ye are gods. Why do you think we have 2 fucking temples?
And he also said, everything I can do, you can do. They're like, how are you walking on water? How are you healing the sick? How the heck are you raising the dead? And he said, everything I can do, you can do. Let thy mind's eye be single, your body will be full of light. And guess what, guys? When your body's full of light, you can walk on fucking water. You can fly.
Well, that's why he was a teacher. He was a teacher and he had disciples. He had them go out to do his work, because it was our work, and this is our work right now. That's why we're here on.
We are apostles. Yes,
we're here to spread that same notion that we can stand up today and say no masks, no jabs, none of that. We're going to retake our realm that you have hijacked for the last couple of years.
This is our work.
You have the biblical Jesus character who's the epitome of Christ consciousness, right? And then what were the disciples doing? They were following Jesus. They were following him. They were following his ideas, his ideology, his teachings. That is exactly what we're doing. But we don't need to go to church and pray.
Yeah.
It's the same. Look, it's the same cigarette, just in a different packet, right?
I want to switch gears a little. Let's move away from Jesus and everything. I did send you an email, Nigel. I can't open it on my end, but if you open up the little video I sent you, it's a YouTube clip, and it has to do with a statue that I found inside the caldera of Vesuvius, and I have some comparison pictures that I would really like for you guys to weigh in on and see what you think. Because clearly I can see brick lines within Vesuvius, and I could also see things that look like corridors and entryways and stuff. But I found in one of the so-called mineral layers in Vesuvius what looks to me like the head of a statue, a side profile, but with some sort of a headdress on it, embedded in the wall of Vesuvius. And this, when I found this, I put other eyes on it besides mine. I've done everything I could to clear up the picture as much as I can. And sure enough, this whole area is different than all the other supposed mineral layers, which are actually brick layers, that this statue looks like it was crushed down and kind of warped, but the head part is still there. Now, the headdress that this thing looks like it's wearing, I found a few pictures that look similar to it. It looks Phoenician. There's that. But I want you guys to weigh in on it and see what you think. Clearly, this is definitely a statue head. You can see the nose. You can see the mouth. It's clearly different than everything around it in that area of the supposed mineral layers.
Right. March 30, 2021. Right. Harry, I've just passed that to you. If I open that video on my bandwidth here is shit. I've just flipped it to Harry. So hopefully, Harry can open it.
All right, Harry, you don't have to worry about audio on that or nothing. We're just going to play it. So when you screen share, you don't have to worry about the audio.
All right.
I just can't get it to open on my end, and I really wanted to see what you guys thought of this.
Okay. It's the TV. I dream of the day everybody just bashing their TVs in their front yards. See, Lacey.
I've done it in my backyard. I videoed myself smashing an old TV with a sledgehammer to Beastie Boys.
Tell lies to your vision.
Tell lies to your vision.
Yeah. Insane.
So, Harry, you have to click share, and then I'll allow you to screen share on my end, and then you can just follow the prompts pretty much. I hate to have to do it today.
That's all right. It's not a problem. It's just like while we're doing this, if I open another video, it's just going to lag everything down. I can't breathe. Hello, Ruth. Hello, I can't breathe. What a nice name.
Yeah.
Take your mask off.
When you see people with the mask on and the sign saying "I can't breathe," you know it's almost over, guys.
Yeah, well, while Harry's getting that ready, I'll just have a look at some of the chat. Sherry, yes, I did more gallons in the under the microscope. Yeah, that was pretty scary. What else we got?
So I was listening to Jordan Maxwell earlier, and he was talking about Genesis and the translation and the Hebrew going back to actually ancient Canaanite and Phoenicians.
Well. Canaanites, Phoenicians.
All right, so I see the video in my email, but I don't know how I can get it on here.
Okay, so hit share. There's a button below us that says share.
Okay.
If you click that, I'll allow you to share it, and then you just follow those prompts to screen share.
Okay.
Canaanites, Phoenicians, Carthaginians, Greeks, all the same people. There was a decisive battle that delivered them from the grip of Atlantis. Lemurians were Scythes, Pelagians, and the Greeks, all the same people, Lemurians. That's from the Sumerian creation text, I think, or the Popol Vuh, or the Mahabharata, one of them. Let's just keep making notes. Right, you got it, bro.
You got it? No, I don't have nothing yet. I have nothing because did you click share screen or share?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, because I have nothing here to click on yet.
Hang on. All right, let me try. Let me try. If it slows us down, I'll have to dump it. But
I'm gonna try to open my email. I hate to put you guys through all this, but StreamYard is not as user friendly as it used to be. I don't know why that is, but let's see if I can.
Okay, I've got it.
I've got my mail and open. Yes. Okay.
I've got it.
Yeah, what do you guys think of this the statue head and the comparison pictures? Because when I saw these pictures on other interviews that I was on, I was like, oh my God, that's that headdress that I saw on Vesuvius. It was like, no way.
Right. Okay. So let me share it.
All right, here we go, guys.
36 seconds.
Should come up in just a second.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so we're going to let this video play for a minute. If you pause it right there. Okay, pause it right there.
Yep.
The picture before this one was it in the mineral layer. Okay, so if we go back just a little bit on the video to the very beginning, we'll go back again. So you can get the full picture of it sitting within the supposed mineral layers in Vesuvius. Now, when I was looking at this stuff, I had a magnifying glass a little bit further back, just a little further back, and you'll be good. To the very beginning. Yeah, just go back to the beginning part, the very first picture that comes up in the very beginning, where it's the bigger picture of the mineral layers.
Okay, this one, right?
All the way. No, back further. There you go, all the way to the beginning. Stop right there. Right there, stop it. Good.
That's the very beginning.
So here
yes.
Here you can see at the very top of the picture, leading down the halfway down, that looks like brick lines, okay? Squished down brick, melted brick. And then you get to this. Now, if you pause it right there, this is what I found within these post-mineral layers. And this is clearly, to me, I could see the side profile of what could be a woman's head with some type of a headdress on it. Do you see that?
Yeah. Yeah. That's mineral. That's some. Oh, wow. Yeah. All right. So there's the outline. There's the face. There's the headdress. The back of the head. And yeah.
Yeah. Where your cursor is the lips and the nose. The headdress is to the right of where your arrow is, and you'll see it.
So this is
as we go along in the video.
This is the headdress, right? Where the cursor is.
No, no, you're on the wrong part. Right there where your cursor is, you just went over the nose. This is a side profile looking to the left of the picture, facing left, and you're seeing the side profile of the head. I don't see how you can't see that.
I can see.
Yes. That's the side of the face.
I'm on a laptop.
You see something coming down over the forehead above the head.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the face right here. Yeah.
It's okay. So let it play on and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yes. And those lines above it on the head is part of the headdress.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
See it?
Yeah. These lines.
This is inside the crater of Vesuvius within the walls.
Yeah. These lines here are the same, virtually the same as on this head. Yeah, I got it.
Yes, as the headdress.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you pay attention to those lines and follow them back into the wall, you can see that this head goes back into the wall more. There's more of it. Because if you look at where the back of the headdress meets the rest of the wall, there's a crease there. Like it goes in more. And it's the same ribbed kind of headdress as what's on this Egyptian looking thing. And then also this next picture coming up here.
Yeah, well, this one's underwater, right? The one on the left.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, all right.
And it's a giant woman with a little dude.
There's the face where my cursor is. There's the face. And this is the headdress.
That's the nose and the lips. No. You're upside down or something.
Oh, am I?
Okay. Yeah. So
well, this is the headdress, right?
Your cursor. Up there's the headdress and those lines. That's the headdress. The face is facing left. So the face is looking at the other statue right now. See how?
Yeah, I'm looking for the nose. I can see a face here, but that's obviously not the one that you're talking about.
The nose is right in the center, right there. That's the nose. In the mouth. See the nose and the mouth? You're looking at the side profile?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, there's the nose.
This side profile of a whole head with a headdress on it, just like that statue there.
Yeah. Wow. And that's where you...
Now, if you take this... It's in Vesuvius. Now, if you take this video back to the beginning again and you look at the picture of the mineral layers and how this thing is embedded in it, and we'll run through the video one more time, you'll get a better understanding of what we're looking at here.
Okay, let's go.
Run it all the way back to the beginning.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah. All the way back. There you go. There it is, embedded in the layers. It's kind of facing upward a little. I had to cant it off to its side to bring the head upright to compare it to these two pictures. But there it is, guys. There it is. It's a head.
Right there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The eyes are kind of covered a little, it looks like, but there's a nose and a mouth and what looks like maybe a neck going down. That's the headdress there where your cursor is. There's some definitive lines right there that almost look like brick lines, but I think they're part of this headdress. I also think they're making gold around this thing. Looks like there's some gold around it that may have melted around it.
Yeah, well, this looks definitely like it's gold here.
Yes. Yeah.
But wow, look at that face, guys. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. I did struggle to see it at the beginning. I was looking here, but no, that is a big head.
Right. And when I saw this thing, I was like, holy shit. If I can find this in Vesuvius now, imagine what must have been left over in there before they bombed it in 1944 and said it went off when it didn't go off. They just dropped some bombs in it to destroy the rest of the stuff.
Wow, that's a good catch, Jen.
There you go again. All the wars were there to destroy evidence.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. So when I saw these two pictures, it reminded me I've been looking for statues with headdresses that would be similar to this. These seem to be Phoenician in nature. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Volcanoes are not what they're telling us, guys.
No, they're not. No, they're not. And the other thing is that we should talk about at some point. I've got a PPT somewhere. No, I can't find it now. But on some of these statues, you know, you have these marble statues where you've got a naked guy and a naked woman, and they're in an embrace, and you can actually see the dimples as the guy's hand is pressing into her quote unquote skin. You've got these perfect fingernails.
I think that these were animated before the X Factor event. They were animated to a certain extent, and when all this took place and the heating event took place, they were just hardened into the rocks that they're in. You know, it's hard to explain what I mean by animated, but I mean when you walk up to a building and that statue head that's there by the door can talk to you. You know what I mean?
I might go one step further on that and look at the myth of Medusa who turned things to stone. There's one of these statues, one of these pictures I've got, and it's a close-up of the face. It's a marble statue, and you can actually see the eyelashes, the individual eyelashes.
Yeah.
And yet we're told this was all made with a hammer and chisel. Yeah, right. Of course it was.
No way.
There's actually a theory that they were actual people and they were turned to stone. I know that sounds crazy, but the Medusa story or myth came about for a reason. There's something that I read, some notes that I made a while ago, that actually talk about this. It's in one of the what we told our ancient books about people actually being turned to stone. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. We have got no idea what this realm really is. Nothing.
And we got no idea what really happened or what it really looked like prior to the X Factor event, because people really just cannot fathom what this place must have looked like. And China wasn't China, you know, England wasn't England. All these things had other names. They were shaped differently and everything. A lot of times, especially in England, Ireland, and Scotland, and those areas, you could see where the whole building melted out into the ocean.
Well, did you know that you've heard of the Channel Islands, right? Jersey and Guernsey. Yeah, they are owned by the Queen. They're not owned. They're not part of Britain. They are actually owned by the Queen or by the royal family, who are Genesis 1:27, as Harry and I talked about at length. The first creation, go out and have dominion over the earth. That's where these so-called royal bloodlines came from originally. Yeah, we've proven it, demonstrated it.
And after they destroyed it, repopulate.
Yeah.
So there was something here before Genesis 1.
Yeah.
Well, we know the Tartarians, Jeremiah, Jen and I talked about this on the last live stream that we did. If you missed it, guys, go and have a look. It goes for 3 hours, but the main presentation starts at about 10 minutes and runs for like half an hour. So if you want to get up to speed on the Genesis story, it was here before Genesis 1:27 creation. It's all there laid out. Nobody can debunk it. I'm not saying we're right. I'm not saying, oh, this is what happened. What we're saying is this is what the Bible says, but that's all bullshit because this, and this. We can put the whole story back together in a different way, asking questions, and it's all there. So if it's true the way it was laid out, which it isn't, why would they have to deceive? And why would they have to lie? Why would they have to? Yes, that's a very good word, Shania.
Well, but you have to be careful. The etymology of that word is actually a compliment because it means queen.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but I came across long before I quote unquote woke up in a medical journal from allegedly the 1600s. And the guy was talking about checking over this dead body, this corpse, autopsy or whatever. And he said, I checked her from the top of the head all the way down to her, and he used the C word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we get a lot of words from that C word. The word country comes from it.
Yeah.
So it's the etymology is important in understanding language, and most people are just too afraid. They're stigmatized by the words. But that's I look at that word. Kundalini comes from that same. So
people are afraid of words. I mean, if you actually take the literal meaning of the word vagina, it's a Latin word and it means sword sheath. A sword goes into a sheath.
Yeah.
Okay. That sheath in Latin is vagina. Now think about that logically. It's easy to see why it was the lady's front bottom was given that name. But that's what it means. Etymology is so important. But
we assign meanings to words. That's what our job is. So, the people who are in control, they will put whatever meaning they want to whatever words they want.
We assign a meaning to a word, right? You and I, and all three of us, we're all old enough to remember when gay meant happy or brightly coloured, right?
Yeah.
We assign the word. Here's one. Let me throw this at you, Jen. I threw this at Harry. Benign. Have we talked about this before? The word benign.
Yeah. I listened to this one.
Yeah. Benign. What springs to mind? Harmless, nothing. A benign tumor, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The actual meaning of the word is kind, benevolent. So benign, be kind, benevolent. Sorry, be benevolent. Yeah. So benign. 9 means perfection. The 9 is like the fetus in the womb, if you think about it. 9 means perfection, or 9 is the symbol of perfection. So B9.
And it's 9 months for pregnancy.
Not by coincidence. Yeah. 3 trimesters.
Mm-hmm. 3 trimesters. Yeah.
3 trimesters. Yeah. The Holy Trinity. It's all there. It's all wrapped up.
1 plus 1 is 2.
Sorry?
1 plus 1 is 3.
I mean, 1 plus 1 is 3. 1 plus 1 isn't 2, it's 3.
Yeah, 1 plus 1 is 3. Yeah, absolutely. It's not that we don't know this stuff. We do know it, but we've never been taught it. And what we're doing now, we're not re-educating ourselves. We're not unindoctrinating ourselves. We're actually remembering. This stuff. Yeah. All of us, we're remembering it. Yeah.
I agree. The reawakening.
Yeah. The reawakening. It's not an awakening; it's a reawakening because it's happened before. And at least, our generation, at least the people here now, at least we've got the internet. At least we've got this medium, this connection that we're able to all come together in this. Because prior to the internet, this could never have happened. Never.
Jen, on one of your other shows, you talked about the program, the Westworld.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, it's, again, predictive programming. The scientists that are working on all these robots, they are Genesis 1, their creation. They're the ones that Nigel talks about and says that they are the Elohim. I think these scientists are the ones that are the Elohim. The people that are the robots, they're trying to remember where they came from, right? I'm just starting to watch that show right now, so I'm only on like episode 2.
Oh, it gets
crazy. These are the Elohim. These are the people who are controlling these robots. And then these robots are really what humanity represents. They have them in a control matrix where they constantly wake up into the same world every time. And but something happens, and so far someone is starting to remember that they used to be something different. And I don't know what it is yet because I haven't gotten there. But it tipped me off to think, hey, this is predictive right here. They're telling us we're going to remember one day, and then they're going to have a problem once we do. And then that's exactly what Nigel just said. We're remembering, and they got a problem.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Anthony Hopkins says in there in the first or second episode, we do witchcraft. We say the right words, and we bring life from chaos.
Yes. The spells. Yep.
And I've been telling people for a long time, you got to watch Westworld. I'm telling you, you get so much out of that. Like, if they're telling you so much stuff, it's crazy. And then when you look at how they're like trying to reset things and how they go from, Westworld to the new world that they make and stuff or whatever. And
there's another show as well called Into the Badlands. I recommended that to Harry. You binge watched it, didn't you, bro?
I did. Yeah, and then and there, look, it's everywhere. Ready Player One. That movie is really good too. It tells you exactly what's happening in a virtual world where we are the avatar physical body, and then we're really somewhere else. So for anyone to tell you that to die is dangerous, they just are very, very infantile in how they're thinking. Death should not be feared because they, like you said earlier, they're holding death as that little chip that if you lose your life, it's disaster. And it's not.
There's a must-watch movie called The Adjustment Bureau from 2011, I think it is.
That's a really good movie. Yeah.
The truth drops in that will astound you. Absolutely mind-blowing. The Adjustment Bureau, it's called, from 2011.
So they've been dropping truths.
Yeah, go and watch it again.
They've been dropping truths on us for a long time, but we're just not able to notice.
Absolutely.
I was going back through some old songs last night. Do you remember the Logical song, Supertramp? Yeah. Just check out the lyrics. When I was young, it seemed that life was so wonderful, a miracle. It was beautiful, magical. Then they sent me away to teach me how to be sensible, logical, responsible, practical. They sent me to school. It's all there. It's insane how they've been telling us for years, decades, and we've never ever seen it or picked it up. And now it's all coming together. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah. There's another song. You don't need to listen to it, but if you jump online and pull up The Ballad of Accounting and just read the lyrics.
How about that one Queen song? The song by Queen, the Rhapsody song.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
That Bohemian Rhapsody song. It has so much truth in it. It just really blow you away. You gotta look at the lyrics, though.
Is this the real life? Is it just fantasy? Yeah. Why is it that it doesn't matter which country you come from? Everybody in the world knows row, row, row your boat. Life is but a dream. Everybody knows it. Why? How can a crappy little shitty song like that travel all the way across the world that everybody knows it? It's the same as that. What's that cliche? If a tree falls down in the woods and there's nobody there to see it, does it make a sound?
Of course not.
Everybody knows this stuff. Bohemian, Isabella. Bohemian. I-A-N. Bohemian Rhapsody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, these are just nonsensical buckets of shit, but everybody knows them. Everybody.
Yeah.
What was that?
Like Ring Around the Rosie. Ring Around the Rosie is like a witch's song or something, and they got the kids doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's another one, the Beatles, Strawberry Fair, I think it's called. Let me take you down because I'm going to Strawberry Fields, not Strawberry Fair. Nothing is real. Nothing is real. And if people think the Beatles actually wrote those songs, then they got rocks in the head.
Yeah.
If you look at what happened when they split up and Paul McCartney went and set up that band called Wings, what a pile of shit they were coming out with. If McCartney was so talented to write magical, wonderful songs with the Beatles, why couldn't he come up with the same stuff? Because it was all handed to them. All handed to them.
I just watched for the first time Jethro Tull sing Aqualung live back in like 70 whatever, and I was like, this dude's on some serious fucking acid. But yeah, Aqualung is rated as one of these, awesome songs that were ever written, but there's so much like truth in these songs. It's crazy.
Well, it's all, according to my own research, if anybody is successful, it's because they've been put there, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They come up through the bloodlines. They have that purpose to come out to the forefront and deceive the masses in one way, fashion, or another.
Yeah. And then these bands, these groups, they split up because they served the purpose. They probably had 2 or 3 albums that have been really, really good. And once they come out from under the dragon's wing, they're actually not capable of writing or creating that type of music. Another one, you look at some of what we call classical music. I mean, it kind of started and then like 100 years later, it stopped. Nobody's ever done it again. Mm-hmm. Beethoven is bullshit, right? There's some research. I'll send you a link, Jen, to an article that goes really, really deep into it. When they say that this guy wrote all these pieces, he was writing 56 pieces of music a day. And
deaf?
Yeah, that's...
And what?
It's like them bringing up a brick building once every hour and 45 minutes in San Francisco.
Yeah. It's all fake. So my contention is that what we call classical music, or what we know as being classical music, was Tartarian music. That was the kind of music that would have been played in the church, what are now churches and cathedrals. They're all healing centers.
Yeah.
So that type of music would have been played, in my opinion, because it all stopped. I mean, what happened? Oh, Mozart died, and there was nobody else to take his place. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah. That music was played in the organs of those churches to help heal the body.
Yeah.
That's what they were.
And if you guys in the chat, when you get chance, just go onto your favorite search engine and look up church organs or cathedral organs, massive ones, and you'll see this huge, great big organ with a guy that looks like this big playing it. Absolutely, some of them are bigger than houses. They're huge.
Oh yeah, one cathedral I showed, the whole one wall was just pipe organs, and they were the most incredible pipe organs you ever saw, with inlays of gold and everything. It was amazing.
Now, you wonder why this realm was hijacked, because that's what the invaders wanted. Clearly, it's what the invaders wanted. We couldn't, not only could we not build a cathedral or a church in the same way, we couldn't even build one of these organs that we're talking about.
Well, they're destroying them because they want the people to be sick. They don't want them going into these places where these organs can heal them, and then they'll have to figure out how are we going to poison them some more.
Yeah, well, they rarely even play any of these old organs anymore. Like, they're there and you can see them, but they're Baroque. They don't work.
Yeah.
They work and they just ain't nothing new.
They're Baroque.
That was a good catch, Jen Baroque. I remember you saying that a while ago. But it's like when I did that presentation with you on the last live stream we did. You know, there's a picture of Coventry Cathedral, World War II, was devastated, was bombed. Why the fuck would you go and bomb a cathedral?
What?
Why are you disappointed?
Look at this. Look at this. I'm so disappointed in Jen. Why would you even say something like that?
Well, we got to ask none of your business why. Why would you say that?
Why are you disappointed in Jen? I don't know.
Well, we all take a journey, and we all take a different path to get to where we're going. And maybe she doesn't like where part of your path is going towards, but. Like I said, I was a Christian for 25 years, and I was able to finally see what the deception was in the organized church, and that's when I left it. But maybe some people aren't ready to leave; they're too comfortable still in it. A lot of their families in it, maybe their friends.
I don't go to church. I was raised Catholic, and I stopped going to church a long time ago. I have a direct connection to the Creator. I don't need a go-between. I don't need that middleman, and I don't need that kind. I just don't need that. I have it within me. Other people enjoy it, and they enjoy going to that stuff. More power to you.
That's fine.
I don't know what their problem is. I like the Bible. I like the things that the Bible has to say, and I use a lot of the things out of the Bible. I just feel like the Bible has had things taken out of it and things added to it, and to not give us the whole story. Now, that's just how I see it. I do believe that there's this Christ consciousness, and Jesus is a part of all this stuff. But guys, we are definitely the ones we've been waiting for, and he's coming through us. So whether you want to like my presentation here or not, it's okay. I don't care if you're disappointed in me. I just was asking why you're disappointed in me. And, if you don't like what's being said, that's fine. You can change the channel. Not everybody is always going to agree with everything that I have on my show, and that's okay. And I'm not out to hurt anybody's feelings, and I'm not trying to create strife between anybody's beliefs. But if you believe in Jesus, I think by now you should know Jesus, not just believe in him, and believe that he is within you, and bring it out through you every time.
I agree, and none of your business does actually have the balls to come back and say why they wrote that comment, but. Let me give you an analogy, right? Let me try and put this whole thing in perspective. You were born in a very, very big house with no windows. All your schooling was done at home. You never left the house for 30 years. You never went outside for 30 years. You never needed to. Everything in the house was provided for you. But you've always been taught that the sky is yellow. Always. You know the sky is yellow. You've never seen the sky, but you know it's yellow because that's how you've been brought up, how you've been raised. So one day, Harry comes round to your house, and he goes in and says, "Hey, Jen, oh mate, what a beautiful blue sky today." What are you going to say to Harry? You're going to think he's a fucking idiot. What are you talking about, blue sky? The sky's fucking yellow. Everybody knows it's yellow. So then Harry drags your hand and drags you outside, and you look at the blue sky, and suddenly you go, I've been lied to all my life. Exactly, or very, very similar. Do you remember the fight scene at the end of They Live? Oh, not at the end, but in They Live. That fight scene goes on and on and on and on and on. It's probably the longest fight scene I've ever seen in a movie when he's trying to get guy to wear the glasses. The sky is fucking blue, Jen. It's not fucking yellow. You've been lied to. Well, hello, Christian. You have been lied to. You have been deceived. And it's a lot easier to deceive people than it is to lie to them. The Bible is full of there's a lot of diamonds, a lot of emeralds in the Bible. I won't use diamonds because
diamonds are worthless.
But there's a lot of rubies and emeralds in the Bible, but it's deceit. It's the way it's been wrapped up, the way it's been written or translated. Don't forget, it's the King James Authorized Edition, which came out in 1611. We know 1,000 years was added to the history in 1592. So remove that and you get 611. Flip it. What are you looking at? 611. Upside down. 1191911. It goes back further than 2001. Yes, Aliyah. Despite seeing this symbolic of people not wanting to see the truth. And there's a lot of them out there. A lot of people out there that, no, I don't want to know. A lot of people out there. And there's remember that? I forget the movie, Harry, you might remember. I Want the Truth. You Can't Handle the Truth.
Oh, yeah.
Jack Nicholson and Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very, very true line. A lot of people can't handle the truth, or they don't want to see it, as Aliyah says. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, Aliyah. But yeah, she's absolutely spot on.
When you realize that they've left a lot of things out of the Bible, a lot of books out of the Bible, books that I didn't even know existed. And if this is, messages that we needed to get the full picture, we're not getting it because these books were not canonized for one reason or another, which is they don't want you to have the full story, so you cannot fully understand what's going on. And this is how is where the deception lies.
Another point, you can do all the research you want. Some of the truth you just have to realize from within, because a lot of research is going to be BS. It's going to be bullshit. You're going to buy into it, and you're going to go down the wrong trail again. Like a lot of the ball earthers, they're telling you you're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. I don't feel it. And I'm going to judge based on what I really feel more than someone telling me about a formula that can calculate the curvature of the earth. Come on.
Another one that ties in with both those is the Book of Enoch. Oh, the Book of Enoch says this, the Book of Enoch says that. What? So the Book of Enoch was found in Ethiopia by a traveler, a travel writer who happened to be fluent in Ethiopian, and he translated it into English and brought back how many copies, Harry? 3 copies, I think.
3 or 4, yeah.
He brought back all these copies. He gave one to the king, and he gave one to the Pope, and he gave one to somebody else. And,
he kept one.
Hello. Insane. Absolutely insane. Like Harry says, Jen, where do we go to look for the truth? When we start researching, how do we know? Well, I don't mean think or believe. How do we know that what we're researching is real and not just been implanted into our story?
Yeah, that's what you got to question everything. And a lot of people don't want to question a lot of stuff, but I feel like there is definitely a creative source to this realm. And there's definitely something going on beyond this realm and beyond death itself, and that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience here in these avatars that we're driving around in, and that also that spirit, that Christ consciousness comes through us, and ever so often it has to rise up again and come out and fight this darkness that's among us, or the darkness will consume the light.
I actually think that right now, I think the darkness is getting very, very complacent with this scam that they've been perpetrating on the human race for the last nearly 18 months. They just don't care now. They don't care anymore. There was a conversation on, I know it's on CNN. I didn't watch it, but it's a couple of people have posted it online with Cuomo. I forget which one he is, and the head of the CDC. And what she says, even he goes, even knocks him for 6, because she says, what kind of carrot can we give people in order to make them take the vaccine so that we can get back to normal? Because people are getting back to normal anyway. Right? Yeah. So the whole narrative is falling apart. The whole narrative is falling apart. But even Cuomo was like, discernment and critical thinking, Dawn. Yes. Discernment and critical thinking. If it smells like a duck, it's a duck. If it smells like shit, it's shit. We don't need to wrap it in a ribbon, do we?
Who's this Shanna Twain? She says, "Devil, shut up, you're drunk." I don't know who you are or why you're saying that, but if you're trolling around, you're going to be kicked out of my chat. Just saying.
11:59 in the morning. Yeah. Okay. No, she's talking to me. And
I don't know why people don't like you, but some people don't like you. I don't know why.
Some people can't handle the truth.
They say if you don't take a few arrows, the sheriff doesn't take a couple arrows, then you're not doing your job. So
yeah, I'm not denying Jesus or the truth or anything like that, and it doesn't make me not a Christian. I actually do kind of consider myself a Christian in the sense that I treat others how I want to be treated, and I live my life according to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I do have a structured value system that I function by, and that reflects my spirit within me, my Christ consciousness, and I have a direct connection to that Christ consciousness, and nobody and nothing can ever take that away from me.
No, absolutely. And what people don't like is, what's that old saying? I might not like what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. If Shania doesn't like what I'm saying, well, don't listen, Shania. Doesn't mean just because my research and my understanding doesn't concur with your belief system. I don't believe anything. The word believe is no longer in my vocabulary. I never ever use it. But I believe that. You either know or you don't.
Yeah, because we left the age of belief. The age of belief is behind us. We're moving into knowing. We need to know. We need to know the truth. We need to know ourselves. We need to know our spirituality, what's going on. And we need to know that we're being lied to.
If you had, just as an example, if you had a devout Christian and a devout Muslim having dinner together, both spouting that their God was the only one true God, they'd be there forever. Because nobody can prove anything. They say, and here's one that a lot of people have never even thought of. I guarantee you've never thought of it. The Muslim equivalent of Jesus is Allah, right? Yeah? Allah.
I think so, yeah.
Muhammad.
Well, how do you spell Allah? A-L-L-A-H.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Arm, leg, arm, head. It's telling you again, right there, as the Jesus figure said, know ye not ye are gods?
Yeah.
Question. Arm, leg, arm, head. That's how you spell Allah. So there's no difference between the Christian religion and the Muslim religion, any of them. It's all about you, the inner you, the who you are, not the what you are. Oh, you can't say that about Jesus? Why?
Well, they say I am another you and you are another me, and this is the way we need to look at it too, is that we're all in this. There's no division between us or our gods and all this other stuff. It's all one. And like, as far as this is the way they keep us divided. Okay. That, they have these beliefs over here. And when you break it all down and boil it down to its most basic parts, it's the same God. It's the creator God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
we're like fractals. We're fractals of the creation, right? Of the creator. We're all small bits and pieces of that light, which is the source. But the people who have hijacked this realm, they like to create that division, because if we're all united, they're going to lose. If they divide us, they're going to conquer us. And by changing a few little things in my story and your story and Nigel's story, they create the focus on that differentiation, and they say, okay, you guys aren't in agreement, and we're going to take you down one by one. And that's where we have to recognize that. We have to unite, even Christian, non-Christian, Muslim, all of us. We have to kind of unite. This is the battle we have to unite for.
One of the biggest tricks that they do is they twist our perception, right? Do you guys remember when Obama stood there and said, "Be still and know that I am God"?
Yeah.
Right? And everybody's going, what? He thinks he's God because he said, "Be still and know that I am God." Well, you say those same words. Jen, you say those same words. Everybody in the chat say those same words. Because we are all, know ye not, ye are gods. It's right there in the Bible. The kingdom of God is within you. It's right there. Be still and know that I. I means me. Also means you and you and you and everybody in the chat.
I think Obama was referring to his God, though.
Yeah, he probably was, but it's still, it's the point that the point's still the same. Yeah.
But not respected, because when you say we are the ones we've been waiting for, that goes right along with it. That this spirit, this consciousness, this Christ consciousness has to come up through us. That's why we are the apocalypse.
That is the return of the Christ. The return of Jesus Christ is the return of the Christ consciousness.
Yes.
So once you have that dark night of the soul and you begin to understand or understand that everything in this realm is fake, that is the return of your Christ. That's the return.
This is why they don't want us to. They don't want us to figure out how powerful we really are. When they do, they fear the day that we figure this out. And when people tell me they're waiting for Jesus to come back, I'm like, he's already here. He's within us. It's coming out every day. It's us.
Yeah,
it is. I really think it is.
Woke Sheep has a good comment. It says, "Did you know that Easter is not in the Bible?" Of course it's not.
Ishtar. Let's talk about Easter, guys. How many people are dying eggs right now with their kids and all this stuff and filling their baskets with chocolate poison and everything?
Yeah.
The real Easter comes around every 558 years. There's a 2-part podcast over on my channel where Harry and we had Claudio on in 2 parts, and he talks about why
he's a sidereal astrologist, and astrologer, and he knows. I mean, he blew us both away with all the knowledge that he has, his esoteric knowledge, and he explains the cycle. The cycle happens, and the reason why Easter is in a different month every year is because they're looking for the star alignments, and they can't find it on a calendar pinpoint day. It's because that cycle for Ishtar doesn't happen every year. Just because the sun and the earth meet up every year in the same spot doesn't mean the Ishtar does.
Well, we spoke about 9 being the number of perfection. Every 558 years, 5 and 5 is 10, plus 8 is 18, 8 and 1 is 9. It's your perfection every 558 years. And if you go back from the next one is in 2023. If you go back 558 years from 2023, you get to 1465. And that is likely when the cataclysm, around that time that the cataclysm happened. And that's not speaking out my arse. If you study or even read some of Anatoly Fomenko's work, he's a Russian historian. He's
a mathematician and astrophysicist, but he specializes in history.
Yeah. He's proven all this. And I actually came to the same conclusion, independent of this guy. And he was saying that, he maintains that the Old Testament is a rendition of events that happened between the 14th and the 16th century, which puts 1465 right in the middle. And the Old Testament is a rendition of events that happened, he says, before that, like around the 11th century.
I think he says that the New Testament is actually older than the Old Testament.
Yeah, by about 400 years. Yeah. So again, the Bible. Bi means 2, right? And what's bull? Yeah. And don't forget, they worship the bull, don't they? Moloch.
Yeah, bull markets.
I like basic instructions before leaving.
You like what?
Did you hear me? I like basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Bible. Yeah.
Well, if you take it literally,
for me, that's what it is.
But if you take it literally, you're just going to come straight back. You're just going to go into the light. You're going to come straight back. Because don't forget.
You're promised. The Bible promises you a life incarnate, right?
Yeah.
Another life to come in the flesh. So that's where you have to not buy into the light and stay away from the light, because you don't want to have to come back into this realm just to relive and be a slave.
No, eternal life beyond this world, not within this world. I don't want to keep coming back here. Once I go, I'm done. Now, what I was thinking was that the moon was the soul catcher that brought you back around to this. But the sun of God, is the true light. That's the portal out of here. that light, not the moonlight. The moon is a soul catcher that brings you right back here. That's the false light.
Well, we kind of think that when you pass over, you talk to go into the light, right? We go again. We've gone into that in depth on the channel. We did a huge podcast. It was like Harry and I usually do one every week, but this was so important. We actually we broke the tradition and we threw this one in. When you die, you go into the light. From there, you get your ticket to the moon. From the moon, you come back here.
Yeah.
If you go straight to the moon, go straight to the moon. If you don't go into the light, you go straight to the moon. You actually don't get your ticket to come back. You can move on.
Yeah, there are two different matrices. The sun captures you, and you go, when you die, you go into the sun. And then from there, you're transferred into the moon, and then you're reborn, because the moon is the mother of the matrix, where you're born of sin, which is another name for the moon. So you return from the moon once you've gone into the sun. We're here to recharge the black hole sun that we can't really see, because there's two suns up there. One you can see.
Black hole sun. We covered all that.
There's a very short video. It's only a couple of minutes by a lady called Mighty Mint. She's she's a sub on your channel and on mine, and she actually filmed the sun with a black hole, a little black hole in it, and it's like, come on, guys, what is this? And there's another guy that's put up a video actually filming the sun that you can't see. Here's the sun, here's the reflection, and he pans down. And this is through a telescope, and you see a second sun. I forget what it is, but when we're done, I'll flick it over to you. Or I'll put a link in the I'll put a link in the show notes after when we finish. Put a comment.
Yeah, actually,
I'll find
guys,
it.
I gotta get out of. I do gotta get out of here soon. It's already 11:11 my time, and so I am going to be wrapping it up in a little bit. Just putting that out there.
But yeah, definitely worth watching. The other one is called Mighty Mint. That's the name of her channel. So yeah, worth looking at. So yeah, this is the culmination, because we're still researching, but what we've come to understand between Harry and I and all the research, independent research that we've both done, is that the sun of God, the sun is the light of the world. Go into the light. Don't go into the light. If you go into the light, you're going to get recycled. If we, but we know that anyway, because I still think that we made a conscious decision to come here. We didn't have to. I don't think we were actually recycled. I know that sounds pompous, but if we hadn't, we wouldn't be doing the work that we're doing. It really is that simple, in my opinion. I contend that we signed an agreement. We made a contract in order to come back to try and take this realm back from the hijackers. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. But the only reason we would do that, knowing that we're going to get a memory wipe, is if we were guaranteed that we would be laid clues along the way during our lifetime. And you and I have spoken about this at length. Jen and Harry and I have spoken about this at length. When I look back and see all these clues and how they all fit together, it's impossible. For it to be a coincidence, it's impossible. Absolutely impossible. So, then you get the inner knowing that, well, why would that have happened? Why would I have had all these clues? Well, the reason that you had the clues is because you agreed to come back here to try and help the lost souls, those that don't understand.
I think you're right on that one. Harry, you have any closing thoughts? I'm sorry, I can't talk. I'm getting tired.
No, we're going to respect your time. I'll keep it brief. Again, the thing that they're trying to do is trying to scare the majority of the people. Most people are afraid of dying. I don't know if it's about death or the pain involved in death, but they're trying to make us all feel like we are the enemy of one another, and we're really we're all the same. You, me, and Nigel, different vehicles. We're all from the same source, and we just have to just be aware that the lie of death is not to be afraid of. That's it.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah, totally agree.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. I really appreciate it. And we're definitely going to do this again. I'd like to do it on your channel next time, Nigel or Harry, however you work it out. Maybe I can come be a guest on your channel time.
Sure. Look to have you on. Yeah.
All right,
Thank
guys.
you.
Well, we're going to get ready to go. Yes. Thank you, too. And I'm going to have both your guys' links in the show notes after this uploads, okay? For the description.
Okay, beautiful. All right, guys, and thanks for all your chat, and thanks to those watching. We'll see you next time.
All right, take care.
All right, yeah, and I'm going to end this, and we'll be backstage with each other. All right, thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.